Good day, folks. So I've been meaning to do this video for quite some time. I've been wanting to do some tests to see what camera is better for motovlogging, the Hero 7 Black or the Osmo Pocket. Over the last couple weeks, I finally got around to doing some testing, and the results were pretty surprising, even for myself. So let's jump in and take a look. Now, just to address it right off the bat, because I know I'm going to get some comments down below, and that is that I should not be comparing the Hero 7 Black to the Osmo Pocket because they're completely different cameras. Now, I quite disagree with that statement. Yes, they are very different. They both have their strengths and weaknesses, but the way I look at it myself, the core group of people that would purchase either one of these cameras are quite similar, as they can be used for very similar circumstances. And that's the whole point of these comparisons, is it helps maybe somebody make a decision on what camera is best for them and the activity they're going to be using it for. So in this comparison video, we're going to be talking about motovlogging and which camera may be the best choice for you. Maybe you plan on doing some motovlogging, you want to attach a camera to your car, motorcycle, maybe even a dirt bike. What camera would best be suited for you? The Hero 7 Black is true and tested, and it's been used for many years for motovlogging. The Osmo Pocket's fairly new, and reviews and different things like that for motovlogging are limited on YouTube, so I thought I'd go a little bit more in depth with it. Now, both cameras take a different approach to stabilization. The Osmo Pocket has a built-in gimbal, and that gives it mechanical stabilization. The Hero 7 Black uses electronic image stabilization. Now, in the past, usually you could always get better stabilization from a mechanical gimbal. Now, with the Hero 7 Black, GoPro did something really amazing with their image stabilization, and it is quite simply just amazing. It can really get your footage nice and stable without the use of having a mechanical gimbal. There are some drawbacks to it. In extreme situations, it's not going to be as stable, but it does come with some advantages because you don't have a mechanical gimbal that can break. The other benefit of the Hero 7 Black is that it's waterproof, and the Osmo Pocket is not waterproof, so you do have to be careful with moisture. Maybe you get caught out in the rain. Moisture on this could severely damage it. Now, for this test, what I did is put a rig together like this. It basically has a GoPro buckle mount on the bottom and then a splitter so I can attach two GoPro devices. Now, going into my testing, I did like the fact that with the Osmo Pocket, I could attach the wireless module to the bottom and control the gimbal from within my vehicle. So if we're driving along and I want a different view, I could just launch the app and control the angle of the gimbal. I could point it up more, point it down more, which is really handy. Once you have a GoPro fixed on the front of a vehicle, say, or on the top or on your handlebars, if it's not within reach, you have one fixed angle and that's it. With the Osmo Pocket, you can scroll around and change different settings on the fly. Now with the GoPro, you can change settings. You can connect it to the GoPro app, and you can stop and start recording and change different modes and different things right from within your vehicle, but you just can't change the angle of it. Now this wireless module is only held on with friction, and I was a little concerned that, the wind pressure behind it going down the highway, that it could possibly blow off. And I'm not saying it would never do that. In one of my tests, I was driving for about an hour at about 80 kilometers an hour. So that's about 45 miles per hour for those in the US. And I never had a problem with it coming off. I kept a close eye on it, and it didn't come off at all. I'm not saying that it wouldn't come off. If it's something you are going to be hooking up to a handlebar or on a vehicle, you might want to put a little black electrical tape along the bottom just to hold it in there, just to be safe. These aren't cheap, so you don't really want to lose it or damage it going down the road. So let's get into some samples here, and you're going to notice an issue. The Osmo Pocket did not do very well in just normal driving conditions. When motovlogging, people like to capture different things. Sometimes it's just real-time footage, just driving down a highway or whatever. But quite often you like to make little hyper-lapses or time-lapses. And, we're going to get into that here in a minute about the time-lapses. First, take a look at some real-time driving footage. This first clip here is from the GoPro Hero 7 Black. And as you can see, it's nice and smooth, and the coloring is nice. I already knew what to expect from the GoPro because I've used a GoPro on my vehicle many times over the years, so I know what kind of quality and what the final output's going to look like. Now let's jump to a clip from the Osmo Pocket. As you can see here, there's a little bit of vibrations. Now that vibration, I don't know if it's transferring from the vehicle or if it's just the wind hitting the gimbal and it's fighting to try and keep it stable. It doesn't look as nice and it doesn't look as smooth. But there is a bigger problem, and that is the angling of the gimbal. As you can see in a couple of these spots, when I turn, the gimbal doesn't come back in straight. If you leave your gimbal on lock mode, it's going to get all wacky every time you turn a corner. but if you put it on follow, it should basically follow the direction that you're going. But as you can see here in the clips, after turning a corner, it doesn't realign perfectly straight, and you've kind of got a view of it going off to the side. Now that's not an ideal situation when you're motovlogging, because there's always going to be some kind of curve in the road or you're changing directions, and you don't want to have to stop every time and readjust your gimbal. That could really affect the output of the video and the smoothness, especially if you're doing a time lapse, like that just wouldn't work at all. So I would have to say, for capturing real-time video, the GoPro Hero 7 Black just does a better job. So now let's talk about doing a driving time lapse. That's something that a lot of people like to create. They actually look really nice. Now when making a driving time lapse, you don't want your interval to be too high. For myself, I like to do a 0.5 of a second or 1 second at the most. If you want to give the illusion of more distance traveled, you can go to a 2 second, but anything over that is not ideal. Even 2 second I find is pushing it. So that's kind of a problem with the Osmo Pocket. The lowest interval you can do when doing a time lapse is 3 seconds. So for me, that's not ideal for driving time lapses, and they can look a little jittery. So let's take a look at some samples here. I put the GoPro at 2 second just to try and make it as even as I can with the Osmo Pocket at 3 second. GoPro doesn't have a 3 second option. It goes right from 2 second to 5 second. So let's just take a quick look at a clip here. It's going to go by really quick because I ended up stopping recording because the Osmo Pocket got all out of whack again. So this first clip here is from the GoPro Hero 7 Black at a 2 second interval. You can see it works well. I turned some corners and there's no problem. The coloring is nice and it's nice and smooth. So this next clip here is now the Osmo Pocket, and as you can see, it's really jittery because it's a 3 second interval, and as you can see, the angling gets all messed up again. Every time I turned a corner, it was facing in a different direction. I tried different settings on the Osmo Pocket. I tried it in lock mode, follow mode, tried it several times, and every time it just got really messed up. And at this one point here, it was actually spinning around to face me. So all the tests that I did, I was driving at about 80 kilometers an hour, so about 45 for people in the US. When I was doing a time lapse, because I had my phone in the car connected to the Osmo Pocket, every once in a while I would get these messages up on the screen saying, please hold the Osmo Pocket still. And I think that was the wind kind of vibrating it, and it was detecting that it was kind of getting out of whack. And then I did get these yellow messages pop up, but I couldn't read them in time because they were flashing up so quick, maybe overload or something. But at the end of the day, it was giving me error messages, and I would be a little concerned, all that wind vibration and those motors working very hard, that over long-term usage, it would damage the gimbal motors. I can't say that for sure, but, I don't like to say things unfairly. Given all those errors that were being thrown up, it didn't like the environment it was in, and definitely you could do some damage in the long term to it. I just want to point out that I'm not hating on the Osmo Pocket. I love the Osmo Pocket. In fact, I would have a hard time choosing between the GoPro Hero 7 Black and the Osmo Pocket, which is my favorite camera. They both do a great job, and they both have their strengths and weaknesses. Now, like I said, this video was more of a comparison for those who are maybe thinking about buying a camera this summer for motovlogging. Do you go with the Hero 7 Black or do you go with an Osmo Pocket? Definitely for motovlogging, I would go with the Hero 7 Black. You would not be disappointed with the results. It can be done with an Osmo Pocket, so if you're looking for a multi-purpose camera, you can get away with it. It just doesn't work as smoothly, and you might have to do more fiddling with it to get the results you're after. Well, folks, that's basically it for my video. Hopefully you found it useful. Maybe if you're in the market and not quite sure what camera to get, hopefully this video helped you out. Give it a thumbs up if you did find it useful. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos, and we'll see you in the next one.